I love animals. I grew up with them my whole life. From the time I was born until now, I've had animals, except for a gap of 2 years. From when I was born until the 4th grade, I had 2 pets, a Chihuahua and a Yorkie Terrier. And then after that, after they passed away, and by the time I was in the 4th grade, we had a gap of 2 years before we even had a pet. Now I'm going to tell you the story of me adopting my pet dog, Chloe, in late August of 2008. So on that late summer afternoon, back in 2008, my parents asked me and my brother if we wanted to go to the Gilroy Outlets. Then they said, let's stop by the animal shelter, the Santa Clara County Animal Shelter located in San Martin. And we said sure, and we didn't really know what to expect. But we decided to go anyways because we wanted to just play around with dogs since it's been so long since we owned a pet of our own. Well, now my parents took us out to this lonely shack-like shelter in the middle of literally nowhere. And if you see it from the side of Highway 101, you'll see it's literally a shack. Now we went there in San Martin, California, and we went there looking for a pet. Me and my brother really didn't know what to expect because it's been so long, and we weren't sure if we were ready to take on a new animal and change our whole lifestyle all over again. Well, when we got there, we went to the hallways where they have the little animal in the kennel area, and we saw this little 6-week-old black mutt, I guess it was a Chihuahua mix, and we asked the attendant to have some alone time with her to see if she was actually playful and was compatible with the rest of our family. Turns out she was a perfect animal for us, and since that day, we've grown to love her, and she's been a loving companion for the rest of our family. Well, animal shelters like this provide really beneficial for the rest of the community because, first of all, they take in animals that are left stray, like my dog Chloe, and I would have never had my dog Chloe if it weren't for animal shelters. And they provide temporary homes while some other families look for new pets. They also discourage the abusive practices of breeders and puppy mills and that kind of sort of thing, where their only incentive is to make profit, so they put animals in horrible living conditions, and they also make them reproduce very quickly, and the leftover ones that weren't able to sell are ultimately killed off. The benefits of animal shelters for an entire community are insurmountable, and therefore people should increase support to raise funds for these shelters so that they can improve and provide better quality care and service for the rest of the community. So first I want to talk to you about benefits of adopting a pet in the first place. Well, adopting a pet teaches responsibility. It shows maturity and growth in some individuals, and it's a big lifestyle change for certain people. Now, in a lot of cases, many married couples often do adopt pets or take on or buy new baby pets in order to see if they're ready for having children of their own. This is exemplified in the story of Marley and Me, the movie, and also the New York Times best-selling novel, which was based upon a couple who wanted to have children but also had a pet, and it followed the story of Marley the dog. There are also significant increased health benefits. According to WebMD, people with terminal diseases or just any type of disease show frequently less anxiety outbreaks than those without pets. WebMD also states that with aged patients who deal with clinical depression, this helps them deal with their depression by simply having a companion like that. Well, I also want to tell you the story of my grandfather. He passed away 2 years ago, but all his life he had pet dogs, and every single day when he had a dog, a little Pomeranian, he would take him on a daily walk, and that was really beneficial for him because it kept him active and kept him going, and it kept his blood sugar and blood pressure very low, and cholesterol was under control. However, once the dog passed away about 4 or 5 years ago, after that, my grandpa really had no incentive to just go out on walks anymore, so he just sat on the couch and watched television, and ultimately he passed away from a massive heart attack. Well, that really took a toll on me and the rest of my family, and just knowing that if he could have had a pet to just keep him more active and healthy, it would have been really good for him. That's something that we look forward to in our grandmother now. So, for another benefit of having an animal or adopting a pet is the companionship. Like I said, after my grandfather passed away, my grandmother got really lonely, and she didn't really have, because she had my grandfather and was married to him since they were high school sweethearts, and they've been married for 50 years, so she really had no clue what to do without him. So me and the rest of my family decided to get her an animal, and just that could keep her comfortable and just be a loving companion for her. And lastly, the benefit of adopting a pet is the significantly lower cost of adopting a pet than buying a purebred dog or any type of purebred animal. So now I want to talk to you about this current state of our animal shelters. After the recession hit back in 2008, several public and government institutions were forced to close, and most of these were publicly funded and government funded animal shelters. Because most of them, when these animal shelters had to close off, they had to kill euthanize most of their pets, and this is just a horrible tragedy. Also, for the remaining animal shelters, they became overcrowded because people simply could not afford to keep them anymore. You can see that here there are several animal shelters which are overcrowded, and the cost of animal or owning an animal, taking care of an animal, is really a lot of money. As you can see here, it costs $32 grand on average to take care of a purebred dog, $29 grand to take care of a cat, and $2,800 just to take care of a fish. So this happened in another personal story of mine. Of my older brother, he used to work day shifts, and he lived very comfortably, and he had a pet of his own, actually, a dog. But when the recession hit, he had to go back to working nights, and he simply could not give the animal, his pet, the care and quality of care he used to give when he was working only one job. So he ultimately had to give it back to the shelter. And if it wasn't for the cost of animals like that, he would still have his dog. So that's it. So here's what you can do. Currently, the animal shelters, specifically the Santa Clara County Animal Shelter in San Martin, are understaffed and the resources are very scarce. So the first thing you can do is volunteer. However, it comes with an asterisk. You must be 18 years old to, I know, it sucks. You must be 18 years old to volunteer, but there are other things if you're not 18 which you can do. What you can do is every month provide a little bit of money and donate a little bit of money to the animal shelter. Any sort of monetary contribution will be greatly appreciated by Santa Clara County Animal Shelter, because this goes for things other than just food. Like, it goes for paying better care for the animals, taking care of the new improved facilities for these animals. Also, if you can't donate any money, what you can do is just drop off bags of food, water, dog toys, and blankets that could keep these animals warm from the cold cement ground that they have to sleep in every night. Now, this is what, and if you don't know what else you can do, you can simply just call. This is where it's located, off side of Highway 101. And up there is the address and the phone number, so if you guys want to take that down or whatever. If you guys want to just call and see what you can do for the animal shelter, that'd be greatly appreciated by them. Also, you can spread the word through liking the page. Let's not do that. Liking the page on Facebook and sharing the page. Any sort of publicity will help for this animal shelter, and this will ultimately, they want to spread the word so more people will know about the animal shelter and how it's doing right now. And lastly, what you can do is adopt a pet. I know this may seem like asking a lot, but it's beneficial for both parties if you adopt a pet. First of all, these animal shelters become less crowded. They can now have better care, oversee better care for the rest of the animals that are in the shelter, and now you get the loving companionship and joy of owning a pet yourself. Because the animal shelters in the Bay Area are under pressure of being shut down, it is our priority for us as human beings to help out and contribute in any way, shape, or form. Ultimately, it is for the love of the animals, and even in the Bible it says, in Genesis 1, God says humans will rule over all living things. However, it's also our job to make sure we look over and take care of these animals as well. Our animals need them, and we love them. So please, let's contribute and help out in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
2 dogs, by the way, sorry about that. I adopted both of them.
10 minutes. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, Ty, bring me your